Hello. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wellness Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. My favorite commercial actually is that camel, just coming to think of it. Sorry, getting off track, but when I said that, it just reminded me, it took me right back there. See, triggers. There are triggers. Just because I said happy hump day, it took me right back to that commercial with the camel walking around the office. Anyhow, there is a reward system based around triggers. Hi, my name is Leslie Gadet, and I am an empowerment coach, and I help my clients get a handle on their mental clutter so that it frees them up to pursue their dreams and aspirations and turn their visions for their lives into their realities. So yes, there is a reward system based around triggers, and it's all up to you what reward system you get. Yep, it's on you. So what are your rewards, Well, I've put some here on the back, and I'm going to get to them, but I'm going to just talk a little bit to you about, having that trigger. So you have your trigger, and that trigger actually is something that holds power over you, and you're taken right back there immediately as soon as something happens, excuse me, in your life that dredges up those feelings that again bring you right back to that moment in place and moment in time. So Monday I talked about triggers and what they are, and again I'll go over them real quick. Some of them could be like it could be the anniversary date of loss or trauma. It could be maybe family turmoil, end of a relationship, family friction. Family turmoil, family friction, financial problems, isolation where you spend way too much time alone, and maybe you're overwhelmed because you have so much to do and you feel like you have so little time. So yes, there is a reward system based around your triggers. Your triggers, no pun intended, trigger your feelings, your emotions, and then there comes the reward. So how do you feel when you are triggered and your emotions come into play? Well, it all depends on what your trigger is, but let me paint a picture for you. Let's say this for example's sake. Your trigger is based around financial problems. Maybe you did not grow up with a life of privilege, so something happens in your life where you're hit with a big bill, and immediately you're taken right back to that place in time where money was tight. And so you get triggered by something financial, and it gets scary, it gets real, because you're afraid to spend for fear that if you let go of the money that you have right now, the control that you have over the money that you have right now, that it won't be there, meaning that you won't have what you need when you need it to protect you when it hits the fan. So that puts you into the lack mindset, right? Because you're already looking at the what ifs and the negative side. So what you're doing, as I said, you're putting yourself into the money lack mindset, and you may even find yourself constantly monitoring how much you have in your bank account and look at it as how much you don't have rather than focusing on what you do have. So what's the reward for this type of fear? Well, it was self-sabotage for me. I can tell you from personal experience that when you don't have money or grow up with a healthy respect for money, you tend to spend on frivolous things and get yourself into trouble if you don't check yourself. You may even find yourself being an emotional spender, meaning you feel good when you spend money buying something for yourself. Hi, good morning. Thank you for joining. But then guess what happens afterwards? You take yourself down the road to guilt, shame, and regret. Guilt for spending money on something that maybe wasn't in your budget at the time. Shame because you feel like you're stupid for doing that to yourself. And maybe even regret if how you are spending is on credit and you can't really afford to do that right now because credit isn't free money. So I'll give you an example of my own life. So around finances. So I grew up in a family where, single mom, love my mom. She did the best that she could. But for us, growing up, as a kid, you don't really feel it as far as, that you're growing up without privilege. until you get to a certain age. So once you get to like your teens and going forward, you start thinking of, asking mom, if you're in a single mom or a single father household, and you start asking for money to do things, and you're told that right now we can't afford that, or you'll have to wait. And so with that, growing up with that, what ended up happening to me is I knew that I had to wait, but I had friends that had privilege, that grew up with privilege. And so I would see what they were doing and see that I would see like they were able to do the things that I wanted to be able to do, but I had to wait, and they didn't have to wait because their parents were able to provide for them right away. So I kind of learned a lesson that was good, but when I grew up and got my own money, I got control over my own finances. Well, I really didn't have control over my own finances at all. Why? Because I had a money lack mindset. So for me, credit was, once I started getting those applications in the mail, it was like I couldn't fill them out quick enough and send them back in. And so I ended up really hurting my credit score, because I just decided to max everything out, because I was buying this, I was buying that, things that I didn't really need. But, because I was able to do that, I was working, I had a great job, I was only paying the minimum to pay it down. At first I was paying it off. And then as I started buying more and the amount got bigger and bigger, I wasn't paying down as much as I could, and got myself into a little bit of financial issues. So I learned the hard way about having that lack mindset. The lack mindset, I wasn't in abundance mindset, I was in the lack mindset. So lack mindset led me down the road to using credit as if it was free money. Lack mindset led me down the road to not even really paying back the amounts that I needed to pay that would get me out of debt, and therefore hurting my own credit. I was able to get out of it, but still, I was in that, and I wish that I had learned some skills, but I can't go down the road to regret, because, I just didn't learn that. And so I had to learn the hard way. So I felt guilt for doing that, because I thought, what am I doing? And of course, guilt because I'm not paying back the amount of money that I should, and really not doing a good job of it at all. And then shame, because I'm thinking, why am I so stupid and I know better, and I keep buying and buying and buying things just, you can have so many things, but it's not really quality that I was getting, it was more quantity. And then regret, because here I am now in debt, and I'm not being smart with money. I don't have a healthy respect for it, but I'm happy to say that I learned. So like when it comes to finances, you need to learn, number one, to respect money. I didn't have a respect for money. All I saw money was I had a lack of it. And when I did get it, it was out the door as fast as, or faster than I got it. Number two, you need to respect your budget. So know what you are able to afford to spend on certain things that you want. And maybe you have to wait. And there's nothing wrong with that, because guess what? Waiting sometimes gives you the opportunity to really think through, do I really need it? Do I really want it? Good morning. Thank you for joining. Number three, to know that things are just things. So like for me, as I said, I was buying because I had access to where I worked. There was a mall, underground mall. So this is in Toronto, Canada. And where I worked, I could go right downstairs at lunchtime and walk around my entire lunch hour, walking around mall, not one mall, but a few malls underground, and not even needing anything, but just buying. So knowing that things are just things, because once you realize that, then you start, holding yourself back and start having a more healthy respect of your money. Number four, you need to learn the rule of need versus want. So yeah, for me, it was always, I think I want it. I'm thinking I need it, but I didn't. So it's just learning that rule. So by learning these principles, I was able to take myself down the road to triumphs and successes, because I now have a healthier respect for money and budgeting, and knowing what is a real need versus what is a want, and if the want is even worth having. And I learned to put myself in this abundance mindset. It was so important. I wasn't even there for so long. And so now it's like if I have a budget and I know within my budget that certain things don't fit in, I'm okay with that. I know I have a lot. I don't need more. I don't need more things. Things can be replaced. I want to have the right mindset. I don't want to have lack mindset. So that's for me. So the reward system can be applied to any of our feelings that are based around our triggers. For example, losing weight. So you're triggered, right? You're triggered by something. You could be in the middle of, or at the end, your last 5-10 pounds, right? And you know, okay, I only have like 5 pounds to go. I'm so excited. Something happens, your feelings get involved. Uh-oh. So what happens? You self-sabotage your work. How do you do that? You might reach for a bag. I'm talking about the big family bag like this of chips, like I used to do. I couldn't eat just one. I couldn't eat just a small bag. It had to be the family size. So that's a whole nother story. But then you self-sabotage yourself. And so you might eat that big bag of chips and it tastes good and you feel good. You're emotionally eating. Okay. What happens next? Guilt. Guilt comes in because you now feel guilty for having the bag of chips. Shame then comes in. Why? Because then you feel shame because now you have undermined your success to getting to where you are. And now you're feeling like, and I'm now behind where I was ahead. And then regret because you allowed yourself to go into that place and just allowed yourself to talk yourself into that big bag of chips. So that's just an example. Or how about relationships? So you get triggered by something. Somebody says something to you, or someone in your life that you're currently seeing, that's a new relationship. You get triggered by something they say that reminds you of something past. And it doesn't even have to be a past relationship that it reminds you of, but it could just be something else. Like, for example, say you grew up feeling judged, criticized, put down, teased, that type of thing, and your new boyfriend or new girlfriend says something to you. Wow. And it takes you right back there. And you're like, and you're putting so much pressure on yourself because now you're thinking, and this relationship, because now you're thinking this person's just like that person before. And you got to be able to like separate it. What happened, happened. That's called the past. And that's the past is the past for a reason. It's something that happened already. So don't go back and dredge up old memories and old wounds. Those things don't benefit you. Or how about this? They say something to you that might sound like their commitment challenged. And right now you're putting so much pressure on your relationship and where it's going rather than enjoying the journey. So a lot of the time we get involved with someone, as women, we're very emotional. And then what happens? We maybe fall in love. That person might not be on the same page as us yet, but then we're putting pressure on it because we feel like, okay, or maybe they do love you. And now you're putting pressure on, like, where's this relationship going? And you're already thinking 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 2 years down the road, marriage, maybe kids, instead of just allowing your relationship to organically, just blossom. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy today. Pretend today is your relationship, the only day that you have for your relationship, and treat each day special so that today, is all about today and it's not about tomorrow and the day after. Don't put that pressure on you or your other person in your life. Again, that could be self-sabotage, and the same reward is guilt, shame, and regret. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to tell you here. It's all based on you and how you react and respond, which is going to determine what your reward path will be. So you could, under finances, have a lack mindset. Under maybe where you live, your current home, the things that you have, the job that you have, all of those things are things that you have. They're yours, okay? Look at it instead of being a lack mindset, and look at it as being an abundance mindset. Think, I have so much. I've got a job, I've got a car, I've got family, I've got friends, I've got things, I've got money in my bank account. It might not be a lot, but you've got money in your bank account. Don't self-sabotage yourself. Do you want to be the person that self-sabotages yourself, or do you want to be the person who self-empowers yourself? So coming back to losing weight, instead of reaching for that bag of chips, say, I've only got 5 more pounds to go. I'm going to go eat something healthy. Empower yourself. Or how about you have too much to do, you feel like you're overwhelmed and your mind is fogged and you don't know how to deal with it and you get triggered. Well, do you want to stay within the fogged brain mindset, or do you want mental clarity? You learn how to deal with the things that are triggering you. And I talked to you yesterday about how you spot your triggers, because you need to learn to spot your triggers so that you can manage your triggers, so that you don't stay in the fogged brain mindset, but you get mental clarity around your triggers. I don't know about you, but guilt, shame, and regret, that's not a road that I like to travel. I know I have traveled it, but I don't travel it as often as I used to. I like traveling down the road to triumphs and successes. I don't know about you, but I think that's a much nicer, more comfortable, happier place to be. But again, it's up to you. So today, as I said, there is a reward system based around your triggers. It's really all up to you what road you take. And it's really whether you want to go ultimately down the road to guilt, shame, and regret based on how your feelings make you react and respond to that which triggered you in the first place. Or you'd rather step back, assess why you're feeling the way you're feeling just because something happened that just made you snap. Step back, stop, and then realize, okay, I'm reacting this way. I need to stop myself so that I'm successful in getting myself through this trigger and how I've gone through. You want to break the cycle? That's the way you've got to do it. You have to be self-aware. So I hope that this has helped you. Just as an exciting note, I wanted to tell you, I do have an amazing group coming up, VIP group. It's called Mental Clutter Bosses. I'm releasing the name now. It's Mental Clutter Bosses. It's a VIP elite group that I am going to be launching next month. It is a paid subscription. It's not going to break the bank by any means, I promise you. But here you are going to become part of a community. You'll be able to lean on each other for support, help each other with questions, ask each other questions, because you know what? You're not alone in the things that you go through. You're unique to maybe how you react and respond, but you're not alone in what you go through. So you never know who might be experiencing the same thing as you, and you guys can lean on each other and feed off each other on how each other is getting over, or maybe someone already did it and that person can offer you insight. There will be weekly worksheets, I should say, weekly worksheets. Let me get that right. And this is where we'll work through some real issues. There will be monthly challenges. So this is, really putting yourself on the line for accountability. Can you do this, right? And then there'll also be a monthly Q&A live with me. You can ask me anything. And that way, you can get questions asked. Maybe coaching, like a one-on-one coach, isn't your thing right now. And you really only have a few, things day to day. You want to just check in. Then this is the group for you, because then that way you're not really paying out hundreds of dollars for coaching, but you actually just have a subscription where not only will you become part of a community, you'll get weekly worksheets, there will be challenges so that you kind of keep yourself on your toes and keep yourself progressing forward, but you also get that live Q&A with me monthly so that you can ask me any questions. So just like being with a coach, except now, you're just part of a community. Open registration will be the first week of each month. So as I said, next month I'm launching it. So it'll be open on September 1st, and I'll be closing it down the first week. It'll only be for a few days, and I'll be closing it down just so that we can keep the momentum going, so we can do some real work around real issues without interruptions by new people, so they're not coming in the middle of things and they're asking, oh, where are you guys at? Oh, what's this mean? Oh, what's that? And then that interrupts us all. We're in a flow, right? So when we're in the thick of things, we don't want interruptions. So again, if you're a busy mom and you struggle with managing your mental triggers, then this is the group for you. If you're a workaholic and you struggle with managing your triggers, then this is the group for you. If you're an entrepreneur struggling with managing your triggers, you're trying to build your business, but you're struggling with managing your triggers, then this is the group for you. And even men. So I'm not even going to say men, you're not allowed, because yeah, I'm a women's empowerment coach, but I do not discount. Men have real issues too. And if you struggle with managing your triggers, then this group is for you as well. So I hope this was helpful for you. And if you know somebody who needs to hear this message today, please feel free to share this video. I thank you all so much for coming on, joining, supporting me. I really am happy that you come on and that you support me. I'm grateful. And if there's anything you want to hear more of, please feel free to either DM me personally or just put a note in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Maybe there's something that you want to hear that you haven't heard me talk about yet. And I would love to be able to share that with you and help you through something if there's something you really need help with. So thank you again for watching. Again, my name is Leslie Gaudet, and I am an empowerment coach. I help my clients get a handle on their mental clutter so that they're freed up to pursue their dreams and aspirations and turn their visions for their lives into their realities. I hope that you have a great day today. I hope that you start living the life that you love, but I also want you to start loving the life that you live. I hope you have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.